Hi, this is Dean Castro from the Dead Daisies, and you're listening to Blevins Nation. Crank it up.
All right. It's time for Blevins Nation, the show that features rock stars talking in open conversation about whatever the hell they want to talk about. Where am I going? Hell, I don't know. So sit back, hold tight, and open up your ears, because the revolution starts now. Keep it live. Welcome. It's time for the 6-month anniversary show, episode number 26 of Blevins Nation. Today, my guest is Mr. Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy, and we start this interview in a strange place because we liked it and we decided to keep it, and I hope you all enjoy. Here we go.
Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy, and you are Blevins Nation. Crank it up.
Oh, shit. Awesome. I wasn't ready for that, but yeah, cool. I can use that. That's cool. You know what? I always forget to ask people that, and I have to, email them or text them or whatever and try to get them, to call me back again and do it, which everybody's been cool with it, so
I
that's
do it all
good.
the time, man. It happens. I host a daily show, and after I get done with an interview, I'm like, damn, I should have got a liner from that guy. And, but I've got a few that are just priceless, man. Just where they're, the outtakes are way more entertaining than the actual liners, but I'm glad to do it for you, and whatever else you need anytime, man. I appreciate what you're doing, and glad to be a part of it. And obviously, someone like yourself, you're a fan first, and this whole podcasting revolution that has blossomed in recent years has given everybody, large and small, a platform with which to talk to rock and rock to talk. And there's some guys that are the best of the best will rise to the top. I wish you all the best in what you're doing, because I know it is based out of love. You're probably not making a ton of money doing this, and it's because you love the music and you enjoy talking to people like me. So I enjoy talking to people like you in return. Well,
my wife wishes I was making money. We'll say that. At least I do have I work with special needs kids, so that's a job in itself. That's right awesome, there. Man. So
that's awesome. And I get it all the time. I did a syndicated show called Streets of Rock and Roll, which was on. We had 50 plus stations at one point. This is 2012 to 2014, almost 3 years. And I had about 50 stations, and I had a half dozen FM stations broadcasting the show weekly, and about 40,000 listeners. And people would still say, what about your podcast? And it's not a podcast, it's a radio show. It's on radio, and you can download it. So what is, and I'm interviewing you now, what exactly is a podcast?
To be honest, it's just a name for you're doing illegal radio.
I get it. Well, I'm guessing that the word
legally.
pod comes the old iPod, right?
Yeah. Well, I get, that's where it actually came from.
But who has iPods anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even have iPods anymore. What do we do podcasts? We should call it. We got to find something else to call it. Blevins Nation's good. Why don't you call it that? Blevins Nation. I like that.
I do, and that's what I usually say. Sometimes I do say podcast, but I'm trying to start.
And also,
go ahead.
The rules of. Are you recording this? Are we actually in a discussion now that you're going to broadcast to your fans and friends?
Well, no. I mean, I'm recording right now, but I'll go in.
No, this is cool. This is our discussion. Welcome everyone to Blevins Nation. I'm Ron Keel, the Metal Cowboy, enjoying my conversation with Chris Blevins, as you can probably tell. And I guess one of the things about a podcast is that really is discussion based as opposed to music, because you're probably not going to play a whole lot of music or songs during the course of this. It's just going to be a conversation, right?
Right.
I want to do the same thing with my radio show, and some highlights, some interview highlights, and some discussion, some talk, some takes, and just my opinions or observations about rock and roll in general, stuff that I don't normally say during my radio show, because when I'm on the air, I'm broadcasting to people all over the world, and they're listening at work, they're on the job, they're at the office, they're out there busting their ass to make a living. They don't want to hear me rattling off my opinions or even interviews. I have to keep it to usually 6 to 8 minutes for a headline interview. So I would like to do what I call the Roncast, and just do what you and I are doing now: talk, rock, interview highlights, and things like that. So I think I'm going to be putting that together probably very, very soon. Also, looking forward to the Rock and Pod Expo in Nashville. Are you going to be at that Rock and Pod Expo, Chris?
I haven't heard about that. I just started doing podcasts in November.
Well, this is
so
this is a combination. Well, it's Rock and Pod, ROCK, the letter N, Pod. Rock and Pod. It's a big event in Nashville. It's happening on August 25th, and kind of a combination of rock stars and podcasters. A lot of my contemporaries, if you will, are going to be there. The guys from Winger, Tortora, Michael Wagner, the producer, who produced our third self-titled album, Keel in '87. Guys, Walford. There's a nice, strong list of rock stars that are going to be guesting at this event, performing, talking on panels, interviewing each other on these different podcast rock programs, and something you should check into, man. It's a pretty unique event, and I haven't been to Nashville, which was my hometown. You should probably know, being a long-time Keel fan.
Oh, yes.
Nashville is one of my first hometowns. It's where Steven was born. I haven't been back in 4 years, so I'm looking forward to that event. It's called the Rock and Pod Expo. If you're anywhere near Nashville, August 25th, it's a Saturday. I highly recommend it. I think it's $10 to get in. And you're going to meet a lot of rock stars, get autographs, see performances, see how the podcasting industry works. So I'm excited about that event on a number of levels. Just announced it this week. And glad to be able to mention that on your podcast today.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. I will definitely check that out. If I can make it, that'd be awesome. I've been recording for a long time. Been doing music since I started playing guitar at age 14, and that was in 1984 when Lay Down the Law came out. So had to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, man, like I said, just getting into this podcast thing, and I've actually, interviewed a lot of big name people for just starting in November. I mean, I've done Jack Russell, Michael Sweet, now you.
Those are two guys that, if Jack does it and Michael does it, I'll do it. And that's going to build your cred.
Yes.
Obviously, these days we're all, who have you talked to? And if your list of people that you interviewed, there's a bunch of people I've never heard of, then I may not have time. But I'll try to do every interview that I can, because you never know who's listening.
Exactly.
You got to be able to put yourself out there, and if that one person's listening, I'd tell you a story, man. This is my philosophy. This was our first gig in L.A. when Steeler moved from Nashville to Los Angeles in the summer of 1981. It took the whole band, the whole crew, the truck, the gear, the pyro, the costumes, the PA, the lights. We had a pretty big production. And we were like the Motley Crue of Nashville. And I figured, man, we got to get out to L.A. We got to get to Hollywood. I think there's going to be some explosion there. And it's not like I was some kind of genius or anything. It was an intuition or a gut feeling, because that new wave of British heavy metal with Saxon and Priest, Iron Maiden, and Def Leppard was really exploding overseas. And I thought that it was going to take root in America. Where's it going to happen? New York? Nah, probably not. Nashville? Definitely not. L.A. could happen. So we went out to L.A. and we spent a lot of money. Then we struggled. We starved. We had a few gigs booked when we moved out there, and one was at a place called HJ's in North Hollywood. And so we go in there. It's probably a Monday night. I don't remember. I do have a ticket stub still from this gig. But we went in there on a Monday night, and we set up the big show, man. The PA to the rafters, big light show, pyro, your costumes, and we did our show. And it was a show. We had built a show that we were proud of with all original songs. And we get up on stage, and there's one guy in the audience, man. One guy. And we didn't know how else to do it. And I still don't to this day. We did our show. We blew off the pyro. We did our choreographed moves. We put our fists in the air, and we pretended we were playing in Madison Square Garden, sold out.
Hell yeah!
Because I don't know any other way to do it. Well, it turns out that one guy, he's sitting way in the back table. He's looking at us. He's got a beard. Doesn't even look like a rocker, dude. He's sitting at the back table, and he's out there by himself, having a drink and watching the show. And when the show was over with, I went to the table and I met him. Ended up being Joe Benson, a huge radio guy in L.A. who worked at KLOS, one of the big rock stations. There were two big rock stations in L.A. at the time, and it was Joe Benson from KLOS Radio. And he said, "Man, I can't believe you just did that for me. You played like you were rocking to a full house and just gave it your all," and really impressed him, knocked him on his ass. And who do you think was the first guy to ever play Steeler on the radio?
Wow.
It was Joe Benson. And he really made us in Hollywood. He started playing us on the radio, the local music show. He had a show that featured local music. He put Steeler on that local music show, and then started to play bands like Great White and so forth. And the radio exposure in Southern California was huge for all of us because we were reaching a massive audience all at once. And back then, radio, everybody listened because you had nothing else. You didn't have cable TV or satellite radio or podcasts or anything else. You had to listen to FM rock radio.
Right.
And all of a sudden they started playing Great White, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Steeler. Everybody was listening to it, and everybody, it resonated with, this is the music of the wild and the young, and it resonated with everybody. And the fact that that one guy walked into that one, so like, to get to my point, to make a long story endless, there might be that one fan or that one listener, that one audience member listening to this podcast right now that goes, "Man, I like that Rod Hill guy. He calls it like he sees it. He's got good stories to tell. I want to check out his music." And you never know what could happen. It all starts with one fan, one listener, one audience member, and it spreads from there. And as long as you live, as long as I live, you're going to lose fans and you're going to gain fans.
Oh, yeah.
I've lost hundreds of thousands of fans, and I've gained hundreds of thousands of fans. They're not all the same. You may be a fan of the Steeler album from 1983, but you haven't heard my new album yet. It's 35 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. There's fans that the Steeler album is their anthem of their youth, and it's a very special record at that point in time. But life goes on. I got to keep making music. I got to create.
That's
so
right.
I'm making fans now that don't know who Steeler was. They don't know who Keel was. I've got fans that are 22, 23 that they don't know about Steeler or L.A. or Keel or Gene Simmons and all this. I'm winning them over one at a time because they're seeing me live on stage and they're hearing my music on my station, K-Back, and some other radio stations as well. And so you're always losing fans and gaining fans throughout your entire career. And as long as you can keep a perspective on that and hopefully gain more than you lose, then you're doing the right thing. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Well, two things here real quick to tell you. I am trying to get into radio, at least get an hour or 2 hours of, and play nothing but 80s, even bands that are still making music today from the 80s, but those bands, hard rock, metal, whatever, and play nothing but them. Like, you can hear Pour Some Sugar on Me every day on any radio station, but I want to play Rock Brigade or Mirror Mirror or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I played Mirror Mirror on my show today.
Really? Awesome.
Good call.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah, I love that. There are some bands out there, all the bands you just mentioned, whether it's Scorpions, Priest, Def Leppard, Maiden, they're all making new music. We call it new classic rock, and
right.
There's definitely a niche for that. There's a market for it. This was Judas Priest's highest debuting album of their history, this latest record that they've got. So there's still I love anybody that will support the music that these classic bands are still continuing to make. Man, we got no choice. I'm telling you, it's not a piece of merchandise for us. Or it's not just we're not going through the motions. We are driven to create. We don't have a choice, man. I got to write songs. I got to record them. I got to release them, and it's who we are. It's what we do. So for the audiences to embrace that, to listen to it and hear, and I get it. You kind of hear 2 or 3 songs off an album before you buy it, and then you'll be convinced that that's something that you want to own. I know nowadays it's so easy to buy a single song download, and people don't get the entire effect of an album. How many? I mean, I can count on one hand the acts that I buy every album that they do the day it comes out. Judas Priest, certainly at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I come out with, I'm going to buy it the day it comes out because I know that it's something that I want to own. I want the entire collection, and I want it to be a part of my life. And certain acts that I just have to.
Well,
I do get a lot of stuff because I'm on the radio. I get a lot of the new stuff first.
I bet.
And there's been a few records the past couple of years from my contemporaries. I'm not here on your show to hype everybody else's music. I'm here to talk about my life, my career, and my music. But I thought that Mark Slaughter solo album, Halfway There, last year on EMP Records, absolutely great album. What a great record, top to bottom. And that Warrant, Louder, Harder, Faster.
Yes.
And the new Great White as well, with Terry Luce singing. Those are some great new albums by Great White, Mark Slaughter, and Warren that absolutely deserve to be heard, listened to, and bought.
Yes.
Along with my new record, too. Let me talk about my new record,
there
by
you
the
go.
way. Fight Like a Band. I've got a great situation this year, and not just the reissues, but 7 albums coming out this year, one of which has already been released, the Metal Cowboy Reloaded CD on EMP Outlaw Records, David Ellison's label, which is a reissue, remastered, remix version of my Metal Cowboy album from 2014. And, I should have my cheat sheet in front of me, or I'm going to forget one. 7 albums. Okay, that's one, Metal Cowboy. So, of course, the flagship of the year, my entire focus right now is on the brand new Ron Keel Band album. This is truly a band effort with me and the guys in the band that have stuck together for the last almost 4 years now and really fought hard. Hence the title track of the band, the title track of the album. It's Fight Like a Band. And it really truly is a group effort in which I just let loose and invited the guys over to the house to create together, to write songs together, to collaborate, and the results are great. Normally, I'm not a really good co-writer because I'm a control freak and I want everything my way.
Sounds like me.
Just so happens these guys had great ideas, man. I would come up with some riffs or lyrics and whatever, and everybody else would kind of just pitch in. And if the ideas weren't good, I would have said, no, I don't like that. But then all of a sudden, everything that we were spitting out was what I think is magic. And I know you always think your latest album is your best. It's the best thing I've ever done. And only time will tell. If I'm still listening to it 10 years from now, like I listened to Streets of Rock and Roll, the last Keel album from 2010, or the Metal Cowboy album. I do believe that the Ron Keel Band, Fight Like a Band album coming later this year on EMP Outlaw Records is going to be one of those albums that I will enjoy and treasure and listen to for the rest of my life.
That's awesome.
I
can't wait to hear it.
Boy, you got to like your own stuff. I mean,
yes.
I don't think it's ego. I'm my own biggest fan. In my truck, I've got 6 CDs. One of those 6 CD players, and I'm old school. I like the CDs. And
well, you are your biggest critic as well, aren't you?
Exactly. I try, and I realized a long time ago that you can't please everybody, man. And one of my favorite realizations is the fact that I've sold 3 million records. You know what that means? It means there's billions of people who don't like what I do and don't want it. So I got to make music for myself. I got to make stuff that I'll enjoy listening to. I mean, it's not that I'm just stroking myself or mentally masturbating every time I hear my record. It's the fact that, man, I dig this music. It's who I am. It's what I'm all about.
Exactly.
It resonates with me, and hopefully it resonates with some other people as well. Songs about life, songs about love, songs about paying dues, songs about being on top of the world, being, on the bottom as well. And just telling stories about the things that mean a lot to me. And sometimes it is somewhat simplistic. The Right to Rock itself, my signature anthem, is it's just a simple statement about doing what you believe in and fighting for your rights and standing your ground and holding your head up high and being proud of what you do. And that's not rocket science. It's just a basic human emotion or quality that I try and embody and translate those feelings and attitudes into music.
Yeah, that's awesome. What I was telling you about a while ago, me doing radio, I have a friend that has already done that in Mississippi, and he's doing 3 hours every Friday afternoon from 4 to 7, and he's doing the same exact thing I wanted to do. He started it first, and I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let me get into that. And he's actually going to play some of your stuff this Friday. So I'll send you the link to that on Facebook and different things. So
please do.
Yeah,
please do.
No
Let
doubt.
him know,
He keeps telling me I got to do that.
Love it.
This is only the third
That's
week,
cool.
and he's actually got the biggest ratings in the area in Jackson, Mississippi area, whatever, of any radio station at that time, just in 3 weeks. Well, 2 weeks.
Oh, that's cool.
That is,
That's
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, got something for you here. Dude, my favorite song, I'm a sucker for ballads. And Tears of Fire is one of my favorite fucking songs ever. Love it.
I appreciate that. And I'm a sucker for a good ballad as well. I always, even back when I was super, and still am, obviously, from my commentary, heavy into Judas Priest. But, man, I remember some of those ballads, Beyond the Realms of Death from Stained Class, Before the Dawn, off of Hellbent for Leather.
Mm-hmm.
My God, when it was so hard and heavy and powerful, and then they break it down and sing something with that kind of emotion, it just became like a kid listening to those records. And well, that's what I want to do. I want to beat people over the head, and then I want to sing a song like that. The Tears of Fire is certainly a career ballad for me. We've done a lot of other stuff, and both Keel and in my solo career and with my other projects. But Tears of Fire is a song that will never die.
No.
And I'm also really proud to let you know, and the listeners and fans that know that like that song, that I have a brand new version of that song.
Really?
That's going to appear on the new Ron Keel Band album. We've recut the song,
Awesome.
and I've sung it the way I always wanted to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I don't want to tread on sacred ground. I know that the original versions are very special to people.
Yes.
However, I just feel like as a singer and a musician, a performer, and in the studio, I've come a long way since I was 24, 25 years old. I've learned a lot. I've practiced hard. I've paid my dues, and I do believe that I sing those songs a lot better now than I did then. I was still developing. I was very young. I was a rock star before I was a really good singer. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And I've always been not proud of the actual vocal delivery and the tone on those records. And so for this project, I also want to show my fans that I treasure my roots and that I'm not turning my back on who I was or what I've been, but I want to revisit those songs. So I've got a Keel medley on the new Ron Keel Band album, which includes Because the Night, Somebody's Waiting, Tears of Fire, the entire version of Tears of Fire, the entire song.
That's awesome.
And The Right to Rock, the entire song. And I'm super proud of the new recordings and the new versions, bringing those songs to life all over again for a new generation. And I'm excited to release that in conjunction with all the other. It's an original album. We just wanted to include that Keel medley just because it was a bucket list thing of mine. You know, I got to do these songs again someday somehow.
Yes.
I got to do them again. I got to do them better than I ever did, and I think I have.
Well, tell you a little story, a real short story, but I'm a singer as well, and you know, when I used to sing that song, dude, the chicks would flock. When I sang Tears of Fire. I mean, so thanks.
Absolutely, man. Glad to help.
No problem.
You know, I do appreciate the special place that song has in everybody's hearts, in their lives, in their history, and their memories.
Well, you know, let me ask you a quick question here. What is that song actually about?
The song was written by Mark Ferrari.
Okay, hell of a guitar player. I loved him.
I did have a lot of input on the structure and the chords and some lyric phrasing, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did help, but really that song was Mark's baby, and
okay,
I wanted to give him full credit on it because it was a very special piece.
Yes.
It came from a very personal. What you sang the song? You tell me what it's about, Chris. It's a cheating song. Dude's out on the road, fucking around.
Okay.
Comes home.
I knew it was about on the road, but I wasn't sure.
He's fucking around. He's got to tell his girl that,
and lost
you know,
who he.
really, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't help myself. You know, I could. You know, then he's trying to apologize.
Yeah.
Didn't work. But it's a really good song. But
Hey, it worked. It worked for me.
The chick, the girl that she did not stay with him. Let's put it that way. But he got a good song out of it.
There you go. A damn
I
good
love
song.
the guy, man. Yeah, that's classic. I did come up with. Mark had a different chord progression, and I did come up with that C# minor seventh augmented ninth. That is the primary foundation chord of that song.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, yeah, I created that chord.
That's awesome. Yeah.
C# minor augmented ninth at 7. No, the C# minor 7 augmented ninth. Sorry, I got to make sure people are finger the chord correctly.
Well, I'll cheat it when I play it, so you know.
I think it's a minor 7, but not a major. All right.
Right. You know, one thing too. When first time I saw Keel video, and Mark had the blonde streak in his hair, dude, I was like, I want that fucking hair right there. I want that, you know. And I did many years later. I had it, but it was in a different style, you know. But
we both stole that from Joe Perry, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Blonde streaks. And I had the blonde streaks first. Then I had 2 blonde streaks.
Yep,
And then
I remember
Mark
that.
and I had a meeting. He said, "Dude, I really want to do a blonde streak in my hair. You know, do you mind?" And I said, "No, go ahead. It's cool. You do it." So I cut mine off. I let Mark have the blonde streak. He earned it. He still got it to this day, man. He still got his hair. He still got his blonde. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was supposed to be like part 1 of the end of Western civilization, blah, blah, blah. I forget that y'all, you know, John Cryer was in and y'all did the video for, gosh, what was that song? Something Outlaw.
Well, Chris, if you're going to be a real pro radio announcer, podcaster guy, you got to do your homework, right?
I did, but I forgot it. I forgot it with just the last couple, you know.
All right, just leave this to the professionals, Mr. Blevins, all right? I got this. The film that you're referring to is called Dudes. It was directed by Penelope Spheris, who was the director of The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, the famous 80s rock flick that features Chris Holmes in the swimming pool with his mom, and he's drinking himself silly, and his mom's sitting there watching him, and all that. So that was the decline of Western Civilization Part 2, which was a pretty big success and got Penelope Spheeris' career launched in a big way with the rock audience. So for her next film, she did what basically is a kind of a cowboy Twilight Zone punk rock Western rock adventure. I mean, it's kind of a combination of all those things. It's a punk rock Western set in the Twilight Zone. Let's put it that way. Starring John Cryer and Daniel Roebuck. And a great flick. I mean, even if I didn't have music in the movie, I would love the film. And I'm pretty sure it's just been released on DVD and Blu-ray. The movie's called Dudes, D-U-D-E-S. And very entertaining and fun, rock and roll. There's a lot of there's blood and guts, sex, and punk rock. And it's the story of these guys who they travel across because these kids, punk rock kids from New York, they're going to move to California, right? And along the way, they get into deep shit. And they end up growing a pair and being, the heroes of the movie. Well, Penelope wanted the song Rock and Roll Outlaw as the signature song from the film. That's a Rose Tattoo song. It was Rose Tattoo's signature hit, the band from Australia, Angry Anderson Rose Tattoo. She wanted that song, and she wanted Keel to record it. So she pegged us to do that song. It was kind of an assignment, if you will, and we were extremely proud to do it. First of all, it's a huge break for us to be a part of a film like that, and it's a great song. I mean, and that became, that was the birth of the Metal Cowboy, when you could sing a 3-chord rock and roll, kind of bluesy kind of riff, and scream your guts out, and wear cowboy hats and shoot guns, and flirt with saloon girls. Okay, this is Metal Cowboy, I get it. That really is the genesis of who I am and who I've become with that film, and the video that accompanies it, Rock and Roll Outlaw, with us doing all of the above. I mean, we're rocking out, we're shooting guns, and it's filmed in a Paramount Ranch out there in California. So to be a part of the film, to have the song in the film twice, is great. Plus the soundtrack album alone is check it out, Wasp, Steve Vai, Megadeth, Jane's Addiction, Keel, and Keel gets the signature song, track 1, side 1, on this epic soundtrack album. So a huge honor, which I'll always be thankful for. And of course, that song is still part of my show to this day, and I enjoy singing it now more than ever.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thanks for covering my ass there.
Anytime, brother. I got your back.
All right. So give me some more info on the, Ron Keel Band. Who all's in the band?
Well, several years ago, I was basically put in a position to move to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, as part of a really, really cool business venture, entertainment complex here in Sioux Falls that was really just the redneck rock and roll Disneyland in terms of a concert venue, a radio station, a pawn shop, a gun range. It was guns, gold, and rock and roll, man. And
wow.
I was given that opportunity. My job, which I was well paid for, was to move to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, put together my dream band, and to be the host of a daily midday radio show and be part of the building process of this entertainment complex.
Okay.
It's called Badlands Pond. And I was right there in the middle of the foundation and formation of that business, and it did not last long. A little over a year. Literally, 13 months after the doors opened, they shut. And the plug was pulled, and it was over. So, being the stubborn, relentless heart that I am,
yeah,
I said, hold on a second. I'm not done. I've got a great band here. They allowed me the opportunity to put together my dream band, and I handpicked my guys. Gino / El Diablo Arce, who's been with me on the bass for 20 years, He's been in Keel. He's been in Iron Horse. He's been in just about every damn band I've been in the last 20 years. We've been best friends and bandmates. And I brought him with me. He was in Columbus, Ohio, as well as my guitar player,
okay.
D.C. Cawthorn, who I walked in. We did some shows together. That's 2014. Not that long ago, really, in the scheme of things, and in the framework of our lives. But in 2014, I did some shows with the Keel Band at the time, and Dave/D.C. Cawthorn was the guitar player on those shows, and he we really hit it off. We that mutual respect and admiration and character and heart and ability. This guy came in and did my entire catalog, from Steeler to Keel to Iron Horse to my country stops to everything.
Wow.
And just nailed it.
That's
First
awesome.
day. It just nailed it. And we became close friends, and he was my first call when I needed to fill that guitar position. I got really lucky with a couple of South Dakota natives. The Rev on drums, who is a South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, is literally the unsung hero of the Midwest in terms of being in legendary rock bands, being in the Hall of Fame, being, and if the guy had moved to Hollywood or Nashville or New York 30, 40 years ago, I wouldn't be lucky enough to play with him now. I thank God that he stayed home in Sioux Falls and waited for me to get here, because he is absolutely amazing, along with our keyboard player, Dakota Scott, who is also a member of the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Awesome.
and an amazing talent. And so I had put my dream band together, and when they pulled the plug on that business, I said, hold on a minute. I'm not done here. I got a great band, and we've been through hell and back together. We've got gigs. We've got art. We've got, I'm not stopping. And we continued to perform throughout last year, which that was the tough part. Last year was the best and worst of everything, because I had just rebranded the band as the Keel Band, and we were off and running and had a lot of opportunity in front of us. However, my wife was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer at the same time.
I'm sorry.
And really had to make some hard decisions as to my career, and was I even going to be able to go on the road? Would I be able to tour or to continue to build this project, because she's the most important thing, and I've got to be here to help with her treatment and her recovery, and thank you for that. But right now she is fully healthy, cancer-free, and
awesome.
Just absolutely stronger and more beautiful than ever. But it was a tough year. Getting from there to here was a pretty scary point when
God bless.
The chemo, the radiation, and 7 surgeries, and so it was a tough year. At the same time, I'm trying to build the band. These guys just stood by me, and they were my support group through the whole thing, and they fought just as hard as I did. And now it's all paying off, because we have stuck together through the hard times, and now we've got a record deal with Dave Ellison from Megadeth.
That is awesome.
And we're releasing our album worldwide in a few months. The recording is almost finished, and the cloud definitely has a really big silver lining, because we've got some music out of this that I think it's going to last a lifetime. I think it's going to stand the test of time. And I do address those personal issues in the songs, about paying dues and busting your ass and not getting anywhere, about going through cancer. Even the song Fight Like a Band has some very personal references to our bout with breast cancer last year. And I tell you, if you want to take on the world, fight like a girl, because that girl fought harder than I've ever seen anybody fight.
Amen.
And
Amen.
Cancer has touched so many lives, so many friends and family. Everybody knows somebody. Either you've been through it yourself, or you know somebody who's been through it or is going through it.
Exactly.
And it is it's the fight of your life, man. So that's where the inspiration for the music really came from. And those guys that have stood by me and stood together and hung together, no matter how tough it got or how rough the road was in front of us, we put it in 4-wheel drive. We put the pedal down, man, and so here we are.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of Dave Ellison, I emailed him a while back, and actually got one of his bands, Dollskin, from his label, did an interview with Sydney, the lead singer, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm releasing that this Sunday.
Awesome.
So that was cool.
That's a great band, and that is the cutting edge of the new generation of rock. David Ellison is right there at the forefront of giving bands like Dollskin an opportunity to go on the Warped Tour and to really make great records, and he's nurtured them along and developed them from both a business standpoint and a musical standpoint. Another big reason why I wanted to sign with him. You know, he's put out some great product the last couple of years. He really cares about the music. He cares about his art, and he takes care of business. He does it right. Him and Tom Hazard, the head of his label, they're doing a lot of stuff right, and we're really, really proud to be a part of the EMP label group. And they created a special imprint for us called EMP Outlaw Records, which is kind of like the outlaw country, southern rock, kind of rock and roll outlaw, if you will. That brand, they are embracing what we're all about, what Ron Keel is all about. Now at this point in my life, and I tell you, it's not that I've changed that much. I've matured. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more aspects or facets to me, my personality, my music, than there were when I was 24. But I tell you, songs like "The Right to Rock" and "Tears of Fire" sound like they belong on this record.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear it,
those
man.
Classics from. Well, I'll email it to you, and maybe you can share it with some people. Let them know that you heard it, and let them know it kicks ass. And,
oh hell yeah!
Hope that you enjoyed it as much as I do. All right,
definitely.
I'll take care of you, brother. I'll hook you up.
I appreciate that.
Got it.
So, any plans on the road right now? Are y'all getting out of South Dakota, or in the next few months, or
I
what's it
go where
looking
they
like?
send me, man. I go where they send. Like I told you, I'm going to see you in Nashville on the 25th, right? You still got time to make your flight arrangement.
You know what?
That's going to be a big one. They rock.
I'm going to try.
Go ahead,
I may have to let you talk to my wife and talk her into it, and I'll have to bring her and
That's
the
where
kid.
you at? You're in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati.
You're in Cincinnati?
Yeah. That's not far. I think
Dude,
Nashville, I'm
right
about
down the road.
4.5, 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I've done that drive many times from Nashville to Columbus. I used to do that run out a lot, twice a week sometimes, because I was living in Columbus with my band Iron Horse and doing a lot of shows in Nashville. Eventually, I lived in both places, so I did that Columbus to Nashville drive a number of times. So there's no excuse for you not to show up in the Rocket Pod Expo in Nashville, August 25th. Now, also, I've got some road gigs. I'll be at 80s in the Park in Cocoa Beach, Florida, for probably, September 28th? Gosh,
really?
I should know that date.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Well, so, they just had one.
The Park.
They just had one right after the Monsters of Rock.
That's right. They do it twice a year now.
Twice,
and I'm
okay,
glad to be part of the September event.
Okay. Well, with me teaching,
go ahead.
With me being, that's okay. With me being in school doing teaching, well, actually, I'm a teacher's aide, but that is so hard to get away from. And I'm with one kid, and he's got Down syndrome and stuff, and he's a great kid.
Well, I understand. I appreciate your dedication to what you do, man. That's way more important than anything that I do.
Yeah.
However, I think perhaps, Chris, we should book a Ron Keel Band show in Cincinnati.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
How about October 12th? Let's do it. October 12th?
October 12th? Would you already have it booked? And you're not telling me?
I don't have anything. I'm telling you, man. Let's make it happen. I do have a gig in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, you do?
I do have a gig in Columbus, Ohio on the 13th.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, you know what?
Cincinnati, makes good sense.
Hey, I think if there's not anything booked at this certain venue, and as a matter of fact, it's called The Venue in Cincinnati, I can, I may can hook that up. So, yeah.
All right.
Definitely, I will definitely check on that.
See,
and if not, I'll see you in Columbus anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
all right, you never know. You got to. Anytime somebody invites you to go on their podcast, you got to say yes, right? You never know what'll happen. Now,
exactly.
You're booking my door for me.
There you go. Well, I am helping out a entertainment group out of Mississippi, booking bands. So they're trying to get me to book their bands up here and book bands from here down there, and vice versa, and all this kind of stuff. So it's
All right,
I'm kind of bird dogging.
Pass that contact. So you've got my email, my phone number, my website, all that. Let's make it happen.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. No doubt, no doubt. Well, Ron, man, it has been a pleasure. I was a little nervous about this. I hadn't been nervous for any of them, and I don't know why. I think it's just I don't know.
It's only natural, man. I tell you, I do it all the time, and I've met these guys. And I've met all my heroes. I mean, I sang with Roger Daltrey. I sung with Sammy Hagar. I sung with all my heroes. Well, silly. You're going to make that call. You're going to do the interview. You're going to be on the air. You get nervous, man. It's part of the game. I get nervous before I walk on stage.
Oh, yeah. I still do.
I'm probably freaking out. That 2 minutes before I walk on stage, actually, the 2 minutes before I'm cool. It's about 5 to 7 minutes before I go, oh, I'm freaking out. And then I get in the wings, the band takes the stage, and I'm sitting on the side of the stage, and all right, cool, I got this. But there's a part of it where you get really nervous, and I get the same way, but I interviewed on the radio. Oh, gosh, some of my big heroes, whether it was Ted Nugent, Pat Travers, or Joe Elliott, Ricky Medlock from Skinner, and I get the opportunity, and the publicist hooks it up, and okay, you've got Ricky at 12:30. This is Ricky Medlock, Blackfoot, Leonard Skinner Band, Southern Rock legend, and a big hero of mine. So I get it, and you get nervous. I do want to plug, before I get done with the discussion, people don't know how to find anybody anymore because of Facebook. And Facebook is the devil. I get it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction, the communication, and so forth.
But yes.
How did you find me and get in touch with me and say, I want Ron Keel on the Blevins Nation podcast? What did you do? You went to the website, ronkeel.com, and you sent me an email through my website. It's the way to go. You want to know how to cook Ron Keel chili? My recipe is on the website. You want to listen to my radio show? It's on the website. You want to know where I'm playing?
Hold on 1 second.
It's all on the website. You cannot keep up with any or anybody through social media. Twitter's cool. Facebook's cool. It's all good. But you want to find out what's going on with me or Bon Jovi or Van Halen or Def Leppard or Kiss, go to the website, ronkeel.com. So I encourage everybody, go check it out. You can listen to some music. Hit a link, and I'm on the air live every day, 10 a.m. Central Time. I'm on the air, rocking out with my radio station, K-Back, which is fantastic. And I hope that everybody will at least go click on it, listen to my show. It's an acquired taste because the music is extremely diverse. We play all types of rock from the 60s to the present day, and there is it is absolute mayhem. And I'm interviewing rock stars, playing music, taking phone calls, emails, and text messages on the air, and very interactive experience with my audience. So I highly encourage everyone to listen to the show. The website address for that is kback, K-B-A-C-K, .rocks, kback.rocks, and you can get there through ronkeel.com. So thanks, everybody, for enjoying the discussion as much as I did, Chris. I really enjoyed talking to you today, and appreciate the opportunity to come on your podcast.
Hey, real quick, you said you find out how to make Ron Keel's chili. Hey, I'm an award-winning chili cooker. I have an award. Yeah, so we may have to.
First place award.
Oh, it's first place. It's first place. I will take a picture of it and I will send it to you. It's.
I get it. I have to the second place and the third place, but I've never. And I think it's because it's always red. Or I would definitely first place all the time. Because my chili kicks ass.
There you go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So we'll have to have a chili cook-off one day, So
let's do it, man. Yeah, well, you send me your recipe. I'll make it. You can find my recipe at ronkeel.com. Just scroll all the way down to the left. You'll see chili. And click on it. There's my recipe.
No shit. Okay, cool. Well, I'm one of these guys from the South, from Mississippi, close to Louisiana, and we don't measure shit. We go by taste. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a damn recipe. So, I know in my head.
Well, I knew in my head before I wrote it down.
Man, that's
you can
awesome.
share it with you. And for a long time, I was very possessive of my recipe, but I thought it was cool. But a couple of people had asked, "Hey, we're doing a celebrity cookbook for charity. Do you have anything, that you like to make that you would like to contribute?" So that's when the recipe got out, because
Wow.
it was for a good cause.
Yes.
It's a celebrity cookbook for charity. All right, the only thing I really know how to cook is my chili, but my chili kicks ass. So here's my recipe. It became public knowledge. People started making it, and now everybody's eating it. All around the world, everybody's cooking some RK chili.
Well, I'm gonna have to try that, definitely. So, and I'll
like
try
it
to break
spicy?
mine down.
Is it hot?
I like both.
You like it
I
hot?
like it sweet, and I like it spicy, and I like it sweet and spicy. So I make 3 different kinds.
There's a
Whatever
song
you
in
want.
there somewhere.
Huh?
I like it spicy. I like it sweet. I'm just writing a song about your chili.
Hell yeah. So, well,
Dude, great discussion. Thanks so much for having me.
No
You're
problem.
a good dude.
Enjoyed
You're doing
it.
the right thing. I'm proud of you. And if there's ever anything I can do to help you or support your podcasting or your broadcasting career, I'm here for you, man.
hey man, I appreciate it. Everybody, thanks
got
for
it.
Ron Keel, and we'll talk later.
Thank you. Stay in touch, Chris.
Hey man. Bye bye.
Bye, brother. Bye.
That concludes this episode of Blevins Nation. If you are lucky enough to make it out to Incarceration Festival next weekend, make sure you stop by Stage 2, Saturday, July 14th at 1:35 p.m. to check out Acadia as they rock the hell out. And if you're looking for someone to play your club, your venue, or even go on the road as a tour, check us out. Hit me up, definitely. I am management for Acadia. And don't forget, Facebook Live Tuesdays Unplugged with Counting Stars from Cincinnati at 8 p.m. Eastern this coming Tuesday night, which is going to be July 10th. Remember to subscribe, like, and download all things Blevins Nation.
Walking down your street, I got a long way to go. I'm coming hard, I'm coming fast, and I'm coming slow. Can't seem to get there, no matter how fast I run. Still coming hard, still coming fast, still coming slow. Where am I going? Hell, I don't know. Where am I going? Where have I been? Oh, yeah. It's a railroad track, it just seems to go and go. Seems like I never find end. I'm on a one-way track, told the devil's den. I just can't stop and nowhere to turn, still headed in. Where am I going? Hell, I don't know. Where am I going? Where have I been? Oh, yeah. I said, yeah. Walking down your street, I got a long way to go. I'm coming hard, I'm coming fast, and I'm coming slow. I can't seem to get there, no matter how hard I try. I'm coming hard, I'm coming fast, I'm coming slow. Where am I going?